Hey guys, so today I'm reviewing a study that just came out by my friend Neil May in Australia. The reason for this is because this study pertains to something that's under-promoted in our profession, which is strength training for the elderly. What I like about this study is that it was a pragmatic design, meaning its results are readily applicable in a clinical setting. Basically, it was exactly how Neil was treating his patients before he opted for his PhD. They looked at 32 60 to 80-year-old insufficiently active people and gave them hard-style kettlebell training for 12 weeks. The primary outcome measure was grip strength, and it got much better. They used grip strength because it's a reliable surrogate for more complicated measures of arm and leg strength, and a consistent predictor of falls and fractures in both sexes, as well as healthcare spending and mortality, disability, and morbidity. I'm not an idiot. I know it's probably not a causal variable, but it's an indirect but quick way to know if your subjects are getting stronger and healthier that you can measure without complex equipment in the clinic. If you were just doing grip strength and saying, hey, this is going to help like heart disease, that'd be stupid. But if you're getting the grip strength stronger by engaging in cardio and strength training, aka what we think is the actual causal variable, I think it's a reasonable assumption to say that the improvements in grip strength are probably an indicator of health improvements. Bottom line, grip strength is just one variable. And since the small sample size demand that we focus on one variable only, I think it was a good one to pick as a primary outcome. Speaking of which, the secondary outcomes, which the study only allows us to make preliminary claims and not conclusive ones on, still all got substantially better, except the notable exceptions of balance and flexibility. So maybe supplementing this program, the hardstyle kettlebell training, with flexibility program if that interests you, and maybe a balance-oriented program would be a good idea. Other than that, the trial saw useful improvements, although not confirmatory again, at multiple levels, including large improvements in floor transfer capacity, improved lower limb strength, functional capacity, like the 1RM, and then 30 seconds to stand. Another reason I think this study is pretty cool is because people were very motivated and compliant, so 91.5% of the in-person sessions happened as planned, and 88.7% of the home program happened as prescribed. This allowed them to ramp up the volume very well, going from 1 million kilograms in total at week 6 to 2.5 million at week 12. So that's a 50% increase over 6 weeks, which if you've ever trained people in person, you know that's pretty impressive. I also appreciate that they went really hard despite dealing with a population that was considered old and previously undertrained, often pushing them to 9 or 10 RP on the last day. In his own word, the lead author told me that he pushed them as hard as he felt comfortable, and they often went beyond that. Going further, while the study was not adequately powered to assess safety conclusively, the lack of any serious adverse events over the course of over 1,500 training sessions, except 2 injuries that did not significantly impede training, suggests that it's probably fine, just as strength training has been shown to be safe in other populations by several other reviews on the topic, like the ASA review or the DaCosta review on CrossFit. To conclude, we know elderly is not being active enough as a problem, let alone them training hard enough, so a study like that went balls to the walls with a mix of cardio and strength and was seemingly well received by the participants and successful in its aims of improving markers of health is an encouraging step in our quest to change the perception that elderly should be treated like frail little creatures. This is especially relevant since this perception seems to be part of a self-fulfilling prophecy whereby older people might partially become frail because they're being overprotected and undertrained, despite many studies, including this one, showing that they respond well to training, including hard training. So let's try and change that perception. Let's get older people to strength train regularly for their health. If you don't know how, this study's protocol is free access. You can just read it and try to emulate that in whatever setting you work in.